Manchester United need a number 9. They need a number 10. They need a lot of positions. But what Fabrizio Romano said in his YouTube channel late last night, has spiked interest again from a lot of Manchester United fans. If you don't know what he said, I'm going to go through all of the details on what he said about Manchester United's summer. Again, it is Romano that is always on it when it comes to Manchester United's summer. He talked about this a lot in January as to why Manchester United weren't spending big or going for certain players in January. It is all about the summer. Ruben Amorim demands is intensity. That is the key word in Manchester United's transfer window this summer. All the players that are leaving have been earmarked. Obviously, we know about them. We'll discuss them a little bit. We've got a few opinions going around certain Manchester United players at the moment. Roy Keane saying Garnacho is a bench player at best for Manchester United. Does that say that he is then going to be looking to move elsewhere if he is moved into the bench? Just an opinion, but again, that conversation is coming around. And Ineos again in more trouble, but this time with New Zealand Rugby. They're being sued. God's sake, what a look Manchester United have got on their ownership at the moment. No matter what you try and do to try and avoid any controversy, slap. It comes back with a big bang every single time. We'll get through all of that. We'll get through all of your live comments, everything that you want to have your opinions on. I've done a poll right now regarding Manchester United's best option at number 10. We're going to start there with what Romano said and get into the show. So please do give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV so you can get involved in the live chat right now. I'll bring up as many comments as I possibly can. Get voted on the poll as well. Let me know what you think. I've put in a few realistic and unrealistic ones there. Try to balance it out a little bit. Are United serious? What does serious mean to you in terms of player? Get voting on that poll with that in mind, please, everybody. And just let me know what you think really is Manchester United making an impact. Can we do it? Here's one for you. If United did go out and put a massive bid on Florian Wirtz because we'd sold Garnacho, would you have a problem with Garnacho leaving then? Just putting that out there, because there is going to be some shaking and moving around Manchester United this summer, and Rasmus Højlund is not going to get away with it for much longer. He has got a big 3 months ahead of him, because it has also been reported he is on his way in the summer. More details on that. But Manchester United going into this summer need a number 9 and a number 10. Fabrizio Romano has said Manchester United's intention this summer is to go out and at least get one player at least in the number 10 role, and one out-and-out striker, first-class number 9. We already knew this. Romano is just rubber stamping what we already knew and what Manchester United are going to be going into the summer looking for in the transfer window, and that is key players in key areas with the right profile, the right intensity. There's that word again, and that's what's coming out of Manchester United at the moment. That is the word that everybody is talking about. Manchester United, well, let's be honest, there is zero intensity in United's game. There really isn't. There is lacklustre pressing. There is lacklustre recovery. All in all, when you look at it, it's a team that just looks deprived of ideas and real lack of understanding of what the coach wants them to do. It's going to take time. Some of them will survive. A lot of them won't. But Manchester United need players in key areas. Who is that type of player? Who are Manchester United looking at when it comes to them specific profiles and what is needed in them key areas? When you look at everything that's going on right now regarding Manchester United's recruitment, the stories, the headlines, everything that Manchester United have been linked with, we all know who the players are. We all know what Manchester United are looking for. We know what Manchester United needs. We know that we need that number 9, but I want to start with the number 10, and that's why I've put that poll up there right now. Manchester United ideally looking for an out-and-out number 10, a proper number 10. So it's creative, it's goal scoring, it's goal threat, it's strength, it's intensity, it's actual understanding, it's football IQ. It's basically the perfect player. Who is the perfect player right now? Manchester United, according to a lot of reports, are still monitoring the situation regarding Matheus Cunha. Now, Cunha is one of the players that Manchester United are desperately needing in terms of profile and that type of player because of his Premier League proven ability. He knows what it's like, the physicality of the game. He's already there and everybody can see what he's all about. It's a safe bet, you could say. But does he bring enough for Ruben Amorim? The reports are Manchester United are following Matheus Cunha's development very closely. He has a release clause worth just over 60 million this summer, which will take effect from June. So that was the new contract that he signed. Obviously, no one can buy Matheus Cunha in the next few months. Obviously, when the window opens, this trigger will be in place. And I'm thinking that is basically to safeguard Wolves' relegation if they do go down. Now, I don't think Wolves will go down, and I think they're going to be able to drive a bigger premium for Matheus Cunha. But offers in around 60 million are what is going to get this deal over the line. Are United prepared to spend that money on a number 10, knowing that a number 9 is also needed? That's where United have to obviously balance it out. I mean, first of all, would you take Matheus Cunha at Manchester United? That is the ultimate question. And that, I think, is where Manchester United are at right now. And that poll that I've put up this morning, I just wanted to gauge where you were at very early doors on this one. I said, which would you say is the more realistic number 10 signing for Manchester United this summer? This is one of the most tightest polls that we've done so far on a live show, especially in the morning live show. I've got Florian Wirtz, Tyler Diblin, Matheus Cunha and Angel Gomez. They're the players right now. Florian Wirtz is down at the bottom, early doors on 15%. Tyler Diblin is up at 29%. Gomez is 20%. And top of the list is Matheus Cunha. Why are we talking Matheus Cunha? Why is he the perfect number 10 for us? Is it down to that Premier League proven characteristic? Is that what Ruben Amorim is looking for? He's not worried. Basically, he's not worried about a player coming in from abroad and adapting to the Premier League. I mean, that's not stopped us, obviously, in bringing in Patrick Dorgu. I think this is where recruitment takes over on its own, really, and it becomes its own life force, because it does need to actually make sure that these players, like we said last night, have the right characteristics. But Cunha is someone that Manchester United are monitoring. Just going through what Romano has actually said in his on his YouTube channel last night, I'm going to run through everything that's actually been said regarding this. Ruben Amorim keeps telling Manchester United how crucial it is to bring in players that can give intensity to the squad. This is the key word that will dominate the summer transfer window for Manchester United. Manchester United's intention is to sign at least one player who can play behind the striker and one centre forward, a proper number 9 who scores goals regularly. That's easier said than done, to be honest. They're the two key positions that Romano is saying. He also goes on to say regarding Manchester United's out list, which we already know. I mean, he's talking Christian Eriksen, Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof are going to leave Manchester United. Everybody knows this already, simply because their contracts are up and they will leave on a free in the summer. There's nothing anybody can do about it. They are done. I think Johnny Evans has done a great job for Manchester United, but I think he's shown clearly this season that it's time to hang up the boots. He cannot play regularly at this level, and United need players that are going to be in and around that squad and available. Eriksen, sadly, I think he will go on and do a job at another club. Victor Lindelof, the same. He'll do a job further down the pyramids. Really don't care for him. I don't care for how long he's been at Manchester United. You all know my opinion of Lindelof. He needed to go about 6 years ago, to be honest. He's never been good enough. And obviously, like we spoke about last night, Casemiro, the only player that will maybe bring United a little bit of money out of that 4. But United will save a hefty wage packet off them 3 other players. If you add Casemiro to Johnny Evans, to Christian Eriksen, to Victor Lindelof, you're talking near enough there, well over £500,000 a week in wages off Manchester United's wage bill, which goes a long way with our PSR commitments and everything along that lines. But that's what Romano was saying regarding the players leaving Manchester United. But I think what he was going down was, and word from Manchester United on that intensity factor, I think that's why Cunha does look like a player for Manchester United and someone that United would like to bring in. I think the money is the issue right there with Matheus Cunha. Is Cunha worth 60 million? I think is the question that I would like to ask. And I'm going to come into the comment section right now just to gauge where you're actually at with Cunha. Is he the right man to come into United? If it's going to cost that amount of money, that's what I want to ask. Is Cunha worth 62 million? Because that's the release clause on his contract if United wants to buy him, or if anybody wants to buy him. Let's get into the comments and just see first of all. I'd rather United spend on Edison from Atalanta, number 8 required, and then number 9. Dibbling price is just too much. Price is just too much. He is not worth that. RUTHLESS, I think he actually is. I think he is that quality of player. I think he'll be a star of the future. I really do. We talked last night regarding, and yesterday morning, about the likes of Chris Rigg possibly being United's number 8. And that's a lot of responsibility on a 17-year-old and a lot of money to spend. And this is where the conversation takes over on its own, really, because you've got a lot of money being spent there. 25 million of Manchester United. It may not seem like a lot. And we have talked about how good a deal it was for Patrick Dorgu, but 25 million for a 17-year-old to play in that midfield instead of possibly Ederson, that's a big chunk of change onto a player that is completely unproven at the highest level. That is a lot of investment into potential rather than ready-made again. And that's, I think, the difference. United, I feel, need an experienced 8. I'm not against Rigg. I'm not totally against it, but he is down my list at the moment. And I think that's where a lot of United fans are looking at it. It's like, how are we really going to invest that much in a 17-year-old? He'll be 18 in the summer, but you've got Ederson there. If we can get him, if there is any chance of getting Ederson, I feel you have to go and get him. For another 25 million, you could be bringing Ederson into Manchester United. He has to be number 1 target if available. Rigg is a second option right now, and that's no disrespect to him and his qualities. I think players from the Championship cannot be top priority for United. We said yesterday that it is a way that Manchester United could go forward, but if the other options are there and they are doable, and the way that Romano's talking and the way that they're moving right now and the way the conversation's going, is that I think Manchester United feel like they could get somebody in through the door of the higher quality. I don't think Florian Wirtz is gettable for Manchester United. I said this last night. As where he would be the dream signing, I feel like he is just out of United's reach. I think he goes to a Champions League club. Now, if United get Champions League football, I've said this so many times before, the conversation changes instantly. And United's targets change with it. If United get Champions League football, Florian Wirtz is on the table. So is Ederson, Gyökeres, everybody that we have talked about in Dreamland and what Manchester United could actually bring in is available. I still think there are other clubs that would probably feel like they have got a better chance of getting Wirtz from Leverkusen. Obviously, they've fallen away in the league so far this season. Big game against Bayern Munich this weekend. Poor result weekend. There's a few sort of moans and groans about the way that Xabi Alonso is rotating his squad, making loads of changes because of the schedule, and they've fallen way behind Bayern Munich. They cannot afford to lose the game this weekend. So, I don't know, maybe you could look at that, maybe a little bit of unrest, maybe time to move on. You know what I mean? Missed out on the Europa League. Then, obviously, they've got the title. They've got the Bundesliga title, but that looks like that's drifting away as well now. Could a move be on the cards for some of these players at Leverkusen? They're not the household giants of German football. I'm not saying that in any disrespectful way. I'm just looking at why Florian Wirtz might want to leave. And obviously, you've got the concern that Bayern Munich could come in and try and take him away. Real Madrid, but the good thing with Manchester United is in this, and this only happens if we get Champions League. So forget this actually even being realistic unless we get Champions League. Because I think you are going to offer someone like that. They're going to need to offer him something like Champions League football, at least. The project is probably not going to be enough. I mean, if they pulled that one off, then I would literally, I would look at Ineos in a completely different light. I would be like, wow, okay. We are serious, and they do have Manchester United's football interest at the top of their priority list. But I don't think he comes unless we get Champions League football. Madrid, I feel, would want him, but are stacked. They're not going to bring anybody else in that area. Surely not. There's too many players. I mean, United, I think right now, offer more of an option in terms of key roles and priorities within starting games and certain game time for a lot of these players. And I don't know if that matters to most of the players that we're looking at coming in, especially the Championship players. But if you're going to invest money, and this is the start of something big, then Florian Wirtz is definitely a signing that United fans would definitely take to and go, wow. I think that is what it would do. But it's a pipe dream. It is a big, big pipe dream. And I don't think it will happen. I really don't. I don't think United have got that money unless they're in the Champions League. They can balance so much more And it may seem like £100 million player is way out of Manchester United's reach. But would Ineos invest that much if they knew that it was for the next 10 years of the football club, of this football club's future? That's the question you've got to ask when it comes to that. It's the same conversation we had with Musiala from Bayern Munich. I think these players are way out there in terms of nowhere near Manchester United's opportunity to bring in. I really do. But if United pull off a miracle and bring in that Europa League, then everything will change for United, and the options are there. You have then got Champions League football. You can then sell the project of being part of the new Manchester United. You could take this to a completely new level when it comes to Manchester United's options going forward and what the club can offer these players. The future looks a lot brighter if United are in the Champions League, is what we're saying. And like I said before, when you sell Casemiro, when you get rid of them other players, 600 grand a week's worth of wages off the wage bill for Manchester United, near enough, is a lot of money. An awful lot of money. And that opens up Manchester United's options for negotiating deals. Because United's wage bill is hampering us massively right now. The interest is hampering us massively right now when it comes to PSR and financial fair play. But we can't do anything about that debt. That's not going to move. The only way that Manchester United's books start to move in the right direction is slimming the wage bill, because that's a constant every single year, and getting better deals in for players that are longer term and then can help Manchester United compete. Because if United stay in the Champions League, everything starts to become a lot more rosy. And that is where United need to be targeting. That's what United need. Champions League football is a must for Ineos in the next year. Next season, we have to be challenging. And that is a huge ask. A huge ask. But if you've got Champions League football to offer to players this transfer window, we can go a long way. With Ruben Amorim as coach and the right players coming in, this is a different Manchester United side altogether. And we can jump that far in one pre-season and one summer transfer window and get into that top four next season. Europa League is key for Manchester United's season. I still think it's a pipe dream, and I'm getting carried away with myself thinking about the possibilities that could come Manchester United's way if we win it. But still, when you look at what we've got in front of us, you've got to say there's that little bit of hope. But I would say Matthias Cunha, Tyler Diblin, they're looking likely more than what Florian Wirtz is. I know we were talking about Wirtz last night, and I was saying that he is... I don't think he's a chance. I really don't. But if United do win the Europa League, he is. That's how simple it is. That's the financial side of things. Manchester United's money in what we're saving off wages and what we will get from the Champions League, and I do believe we will sell some more players as well this summer, I think is going to be absolutely massive for the football club. And it would be United turning the corner, I think, because I don't think we will make the same mistakes again. Like Ruben Amorim has said, with Ineos in situ, we're not going to just blow everything out the water. When we get in the Champions League, United need to stay there. And that's the first target. Then you can talk about challenging for the title in 2028. But that's going to need more investment in the next two transfer windows as well. This is just the start, and it needs to be a significant start, I think, this summer. And that's why Romano's getting a little bit excited and ahead of himself, I feel, because it does look like this is going to be significant. I'm going to come to the comment section because I want to move on to some other stories and what else Romano was talking about. So I want to get your feelings on. Let's just check that poll again. We have well over 1,100 in the room with us right now. Get liking the video, please, everybody. Make sure you have subscribed as well to the channel to make sure that you miss out on none of the content and Man United news coming up. Which would you say is the more realistic number 10 signing this summer for Manchester United? Florian Wirtz, Tyler Diblin, Matthias Cunha, Angel Gomez. Bottom of the barrel at the moment is Angel Gomez, and he's a free transfer. And that just shows where the fan base is at. We're not looking for the deals. We understand the finances, but we want the right players. And I think that is key in all of this. Florian Wirtz is in second with 19% of the votes. Tyler Diblin in at third, and Matthias Cunha is the one that is leading the way by a country mile on 38% out of the four players. So that, I think, speaks volumes. Premier League proven. I think that's what wins the day there. Everybody can see what Cunha is. He's got a future. He's young. And he scores and creates goals. And he brings that intensity. That's what the key word that Romano was talking about there. That's what he's looking for, Ruben Amorim, this summer. Going to keep that one rolling Keep that one rolling as well throughout the stream, that poll. Quickly, just on some other topics as well to bring you up to date before we move on to the next subject. United failed to land a $58 million deal for Barcelona prospect Fermin Lopez during the January transfer window. That's come from the Mail. I don't know if that's realistic. $58 million? I'm not sure. He wants to stay at Barcelona, Lopez, and he wants to prove himself in the team. Maybe that one will develop into the summer. I don't know. Manchester United are still on the hunt for a left-sided offensive player, despite the recent signing of Patrick Dorgu. Barcelona's Alejandro Balde is another target for Manchester United as well. Doubtful that one will happen either, but again, the finances of Barcelona and what's going on with that club could play a key part in the summer, but I feel like they won't be selling their younger players. It'll be more like the Frenkie de Jongs of this world, and maybe they will move Lewandowski on and look down that avenue. I don't know what they're thinking, but I don't see Barca selling their younger players. They rarely do it. If they've got any potential in them, I don't see them doing it. Eli Harrison is back in training again with United's first team. The talented 18-year-old goalkeeper has been featuring quite a lot in Ruben Amorim sessions at the moment. Again, United short on goalkeepers because of injuries to Heaton and to Altay Bayındır. So that's why United have got Harrison training right now. He has been part of squads and matchday squads as well this season, you would have noticed, and is a real talent, a very, very good goalkeeper as well. United's academy goalkeepers are stacked, by the way. We've got Vitek coming back in the summer as well also. United may look closer to home for goalkeepers rather than spending money. The priority, like Romano has said, is the 9, the 10, and then United will move to the 8, 100%, and the right-sided wing-back as well. United, they're the 4 positions that they are looking at key this summer, and that's where the big money is going to be spent. A goalkeeper will come last on the list, I think, because of it, because United have got other goalkeepers there, but I still don't think Andre Onana will be Manchester United's top goalkeeper or number 1 goalkeeper next season. I just don't see it. Where are we all at? We have discussed Rasmus Højlund before. We have discussed Rasmus Højlund because I want to move on to this part now. And we're talking about how Manchester United fund this summer. Sport Witness have come out with a story regarding Juventus' interest. Romano did allude to the Joshua Zirkzee situation in the summer as well. And on that one, Romano was saying that Juventus asked for Joshua Zirkzee on loan with a buy option in January, but Manchester United and the player both rejected the approach. So Zirkzee wanted to prove himself, contrary to reports that his relationship with Ruben Amorim was completely dead. I think Zirkzee scored about 5 goals this season in total that I can remember. Obviously, he got his penalty against Arsenal as well. His form has improved since that Newcastle game, in the back end of the 2024s in December. I feel like Joshua Zirkzee has definitely improved. He's improved quite a lot, to be honest, Joshua Zirkzee. And I think he is seen as someone that will adapt to what's needed at Manchester United more than Rasmus Højlund right now, because Rasmus Højlund is a big concern for Manchester United, and he is on the list of selling players to be sold this summer. He is, believe it or not, because we've got Sports Witness's story here saying that because Juventus didn't manage to get Joshua Zirkzee and United wanted to keep hold of him, Juventus are now the most interested club in Rasmus Højlund and could intensify their interest in the next few months. Manchester United would accept offers in the region of 40 million. So United already cutting their losses with Rasmus Højlund. Would you sell Rasmus Højlund in the summer for 40 million? We've had this discussion before. I'm just going to add it to it because he has come up in the names with everything going on at Manchester United right now in terms of how United fund their summer. Rasmus Højlund, Kobbie Mainoo, Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, Casemiro, possibly Dalot. These are the players that United will probably see as open to offers for. Now, United aren't actively trying to sell everybody, but everyone is for sale. That's the word coming out from the football club. And United would take offers in the region of 40 million for Rasmus Højlund. I mean, right now, between the two, who do you feel is more likely to stay at Manchester United? Rasmus Højlund or Joshua Zirkzee? I think most people would accept that Joshua Zirkzee is a little bit more effective than Rasmus Højlund at the moment. He's better on the ball. He's stronger. He holds the ball up. He links play better. And at the moment, he looks like he's more of a goal threat for Manchester United. So I reckon you would obviously go to Joshua Zirkzee as the one that you would prioritise for keeping in the summer. I think he deserves more time as well. I mean, Rasmus is really struggling right now in his second year. Joshua Zirkzee at least deserves a second year. 40 million, I don't think Rasmus Højlund is a £40 million player. I don't. I think he's worth less. I really do think that United are really... I mean, and credit to them for wanting higher price and driving a harder bargain. But I don't think United have got any chance of picking up Rasmus Højlund for that money. For selling Rasmus Højlund for that money. I think he is a 25 to 30 million pound player. And in that case, that's why we talked the other day about Rasmus going out on loan. Maybe United could get more value out of him if they loaned him for a season. I know there is the clamour and the need for spending big this summer. And if Rasmus can be sold for money, decent money, then it goes in the pot and we can fund more transfers. I get that. But do you feel that Rasmus is worth more? Can United get more out of the sale of Rasmus Højlund if they loan him out, for instance, and then he gets a little bit of form somewhere else, and then into his fourth year of his contract, United could sell him for maybe 40 to 50 million. He's still young, and like we said the other day, Rasmus Højlund could be one of them players that just breaks through later down the line, like the player we are going to go for this summer in Viktor Gyökeres, because Romano has also said when it comes to Manchester United's target, Gyökeres and Osimhen are United's top two striker targets for the summer. Then it goes down to the likes of Liam Delap from Ipswich as another option. We've talked about why and how Manchester United are looking at these players. Gyökeres has the relationship with Ruben Amorim, and United are one of the clubs that that Sporting would sell to within that clause in Gyökeres' contract, which is approximately 60 million-ish. 58 million is the total and the number to get Gyökeres in. That's good money. That's very, very good money for Gyökeres. You cannot turn that away. I think that should be United's top target. Osimhen is a very similar price, a year younger, and offers something a bit different. Again, this is similar to the number 10 poll that we've got running on. Proven. And no, Gyökeres isn't proven in the Prem. He's played in the Championship, but he's played with Ruben Amorim. And that, I think, is key. And he will give you goals. He is a goal scorer. And he's one of the best strikers in Europe right now. Alongside Osimhen. Alongside a few others, obviously. But I feel like he is gettable. Even if United don't get Champions League, I think United can get Gyökeres. And I'm not saying that arrogantly. I'm just saying that realistically because I think he believes in Ruben Amorim. He's the one who took him out of the Championship and developed him into the striker he is now in that system. And that's where he's thrived. There is some sort of, I feel, connection there on that. And I do believe there is work going on behind the scenes. I would be surprised if United didn't go for Gyökeres. In fact, I would be surprised if United didn't get Viktor Gyökeres this summer. I feel like he is that type of player that was just fit into Manchester United's side. Ruben Amorim knows him. He knows his flaws. He knows his qualities. He knows that in this system he is going to score him goals, which is going to get United the wins and which is going to get Manchester United Champions League football top 4 next season. He is that type of player that will get United over the line, and he's that type of player that will take United to that next level. And they're the types of signings that United need to be getting. Gyökeres has to be priority number 1 for United this summer. I liked Osimhen. I liked the deal. In January, that worked for United because we could have got him sooner, but only if we got him in January. And he is a target for United this summer, and I think that worked out. But again, you have to look at... I know some people are going to disagree with what I'm about to say here, but you have to give United a little bit of credit for not jumping the gun in January because they want their top targets in the summer. And the long-term planning for Manchester United is more important than the short-term gain that we would have got in bringing in, say, an Osimhen in January rather than getting Gyökeres in the summer, if that is Ruben's top target, which I think it is. Osimhen could have been the difference, like we've said before, for Manchester United being in 13th now to possibly getting into 8th. Is it that much different? It's not going to be enough to get us into European football next season. Yes, he could have got us there within the Europa League and helped us that way. But I think United feel like even if we don't get Europe this season or qualify for it this season for next year, then we could still get Gyökeres, and that is the future of Manchester United right there. That is where United need to be looking. I'm going to come to the comments section right now. We have a couple of super chats, first of all, to get through. So get your comments in now, everybody, on everything we just discussed. Rasmus Højlund, talk about the striker situation, your number 10s. Get all of your questions in as well and all of your comments. Andreas with a super chat, thank you, buddy. We need a senior striker for Rasmus to learn from. Would keep him for another year. Bring in Gyökeres and see next year. So again, talking about keeping Rasmus Højlund rather than selling him after 2 years. He could just grasp it. That's the worry and that's the concern. And you know what? On Gyökeres, Gyökeres is above 25. Hope Man United still goes for him. I think they will. I think 25 is enough. You could get 7 years out of Gyökeres at the top level, I feel. You look at top strikers now. You look at Lewandowski. You look at what Ronaldo's doing. I know that's a different and a completely different sort of spectrum. You look at what Benzema was still doing at a certain age at Real Madrid. These strikers, when they look after themselves, you can get them to 32, 33 and still doing a job. I think United have got a good 6 or 7 years out of Gyökeres. He's the perfect signing for what we need right now. But just on what Andreas said there in the first super chat regarding Rasmus Højlund, Gyökeres is the perfect example of what Rasmus Højlund could be. Gyökeres didn't hit it in his early 20s. He didn't make it at Brighton. He moved to the Championship for £1 million. Let's not forget that, £1 million. And that was a Dan Ashworth sale. So he went there, smashed it in the Championship, lower level, and came alive. It was that moment. So Gyökeres, realistically, was starting to hit his sort of prime and really find out how good he was at the top level around 24. Rasmus is still 22, just turned 22. In 2 years, if you bring in a Gyökeres right now, Rasmus Højlund could adapt and could evolve. It's a big could though. And that's the issue that we've got at United right now. Going back to what I've always said, the problem with United is Amorim hasn't got time to hang around. If Rasmus Højlund funds another player coming in now that is going to work now, Rasmus Højlund goes. It's as simple as that. If the right bid doesn't come in, maybe you loan him out. Maybe you keep him behind Victor Gyökeres. He's not on massive wages. He's not going to cost the club a lot of money. Obviously, we're still paying instalments to Atalanta. We were ripped off, obviously. But you know what? Maybe Rasmus Højlund is that player that deserves a little bit of space, a little bit of room to actually try and improve in. Because let's not forget, he, above anybody else, was thrown under the bus the most. I'm saying he was thrown under the bus and then another bus came in behind and ran over him again. The recruitment of Manchester United around Rasmus Højlund, first of all, the price tag and the pressure that was put on him, brain dead from Manchester United. Absolutely rinsed and taken to the cleaners for that deal. And then he was given the number 1 Manchester United striker position. Like, you go and you're our new top striker. Given the number 9 shirt this summer as well. It's like, seriously, how much more pressure do you want to put on an unproven striker at the highest level? With the scrutiny and criticism at the highest it's ever been at this football club in the Premier League era. All of that on a unproven young striker. It's ridiculous. Even if you gave that to Gyökeres at the same age, he probably would have melted as well. Because he wasn't developed enough and he wasn't ready. Maybe Rasmus on loan or behind Gyökeres next season, then we look at selling him. I think he deserves that chance more than other players in this squad. I would sell Dalot ahead of Rasmus Højlund just because of the situation and what he's been put in. Dalot has had plenty of time to evolve and adapt. And where I like Dalot, I think he is one of Manchester United's most passionate players. We can't have passion merchants, I know that. I think there is space in United's team for Dalot when everything is settled. I do believe he's one of them players that has just stop, start, and never really developed to the level that we've needed. I just feel like some of these players, and we talk this, Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo fall into the same category. They both do. And again, the only reason I'm talking about Garnacho, the only reason I'm talking about Kobbie Mainoo is because of the needs-must situation at Manchester United right now. That's what we're dealing with. It's not that I want them out. It's that the reality is Ruben's not got time to develop them. Ineos want want to win the league in 3 years' time. Ruben's contract's up in 2 years. And honestly, he realises the situation he's in. He knows it. He talks about it all the time in winning games. Winning games buys you time. You need to be winning at Manchester United. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, he knows he's out of the door. So he understands the situation more than any other manager before. You're not going to get time with Ineos as the ownership of this football club, as a coach or as a manager. And if they said to him, look, we want to give you everything you want right now, but it's at the cost of selling player A, B and C, what's he going to do? And this is why I think he's been very, very careful with his words and never saying that there's players here at this football club that are unsellable and they won't sell. He's never said it once. And I think this is bracing everybody for what is to come. I don't think he's got the right intensity, like Romano said. I don't think he's got the players he needs. I also think, more importantly, he hasn't got the time. Maybe being a Man U fan is a social experiment to see how much fans can take before they break. It feels that way. We absolutely need another striker. We do. Let's get into some comments. Osimhen, a player that wants to be first to the ball with any part of his body. Some forwards nowadays only score in one-on-one or one or two ways. Martial, no headers. Xerxes hangs off. Shearer, all parts of all areas. I mean, there are strikers and then there are strikers. Gyökeres and Osimhen, I think, are the latter. Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes are they're the ones that are still learning. They are the ones that have got a bit more development to go. I don't think Xerxes is a striker, by the way. I really don't think he is. Rasmus cannot be judged on current Man United squad. He's a striker for a fluid flowing system. If we do end up selling him to support Amorim, I would understand. I think there is an understanding level within the fan base. There's a frustration also that other players are going before the players that really don't deserve to go. And that's what we just talked about then. Rasmus Højlund, Kobbie Mainoo, Garnacho. There is a real frustration within the fan base that them players shouldn't be going before the ones that have let us down. But I think the fans also understand that we do need to make something happen in the transfer market to back Ruben Amorim. Please keep getting your likes in. We're creeping up to the 300 live like mark. Also, make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well. We will be doing a watch along on Football Talks, our other channel, which is in the description, and one of the mods will pop it into the live chat as well. Football Talks later on this evening. The show and content for today is the watch along between City and Madrid, so stay tuned for that one later as well. Get across and subscribe to our other channel as well, everybody. No one believes United will win in 3 years' time. That's just PR. Look, set the target and go for it. Like, I'm here to be surprised. That's it. If they feel like they can do it, then I'm all ears and I am all forever watching when this transfer window opens in the summer. Because the only way United could even think about challenging in 2028 is if they make massive strides this summer. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what the plan is. But I'm all ears, like I said. Like I want to be surprised. Let's see. Dalot is right-footed and needs to move back to the right. A player can't be as good on the wrong side of the field. We don't need another right back or right wing back. We already have him in Dalot. For me, yeah, we do need another one. Quender over Dalot all day long. I don't think Dalot has got the qualities needed. I really don't. I think he's a good squad player. And I think that ultimately is where his position is in this squad. And I think it will be his position when the summer finishes. I do next season. I think he will either be sold or he will be down the pecking order as a utility player. I think that's what's necessary. I just don't think he grasps it. I really don't think he grasps it. I want him to. And this season, if he goes over to the right-hand side at any point, then United, I don't know, maybe we can find more out of him. And maybe he can discover that form. But Ruben likes to play him on the left. And that's another question that every single United fan is actually having. Garnacho's story has been swept under the carpet and should be looked into properly to help fans understand why he's on the to be sold list. The box of 4 is weaker with Amorim telling him to play freely. Look, with Garnacho, we know about it. Roy Keane has come out and said that Garnacho is a sub player at best. Another one. Is Garnacho another Dalot? Is he the attacking version of Dalot? He's good, but he isn't top level. And Manchester United right now want him in their squad. I'm telling you right now, Garnacho is not a starter come start of the season. Next season, he is not going to be in that starting 11 guaranteed. And then you've got to make a decision. And I think he needs to make a decision as well. I think he knows he isn't going to be a first-team starter, regular that is. I think he's got great potential. And I would love him to stay at Manchester United and be part of the squad. But he's not going to be a starter for Ruben Amorim next season. I'm pretty certain of that. When everyone's fit, does Garnacho start after the transfers that are made in the summer? That question we will answer come September 1st. But I don't think he will be. That's just my opinion on it. Roy Keane talking there like he is better off the bench. I think he adapts better off the bench. He can come in and impact games a lot better. If he wants to be part of that and be that impact sub and do something for Manchester United from that area, he will start games still. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to be sat on the bench. It will be like the modern day version of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's what he'll be, the super sub. And this is what I think Ruben Amorim has to install into Manchester United as well. Like, don't forget, this is United, and you have got no God-given right to be starting on that pitch. If you feel like you should be starting and you're kicking up a stink, then you're out the door. Nobody in that team is a guaranteed starter right now, for me, apart from Ahmad. I think in terms of quality this season, I think Ahmad, Mazraoui, De Ligt, I think they're the only players. Manuel Ugarte. Everybody else, no. I don't. Everybody else is not guaranteed or should not be guaranteed a place in the starting 11 for Manchester United. They've not been good enough. Simple as that. It's handful. Mazraoui struggled recently. Some people might not want him in the side. I don't think that he's a guaranteed starter either. Like the positivity, Adam, not sure about Ineos myself. On Ineos are being sued by New Zealand Rugby Union. The All Blacks are suing them as their sporting their sporting sort of sponsor, basically, the sporting control sponsor, are suing Ineos because as part of their deal, they did not make their 2025 payment. Again, this is a strange one. They've not made a certain payment within, and Ineos are now being sued. Like, the last thing United need right now is more controversy off the pitch regarding the ownership, but Ineos seem to attract it wherever they go, it would seem. And I think this is where a lot of Manchester United fans are always going to be that sceptical over Ineos and their running of Manchester United. Wherever they go, they seem to leave a trail of not so much destruction, but problems. And where Sir Jim is successful as a businessman, he's got there by being quite destructive and has caused problems wherever he's been. Whatever sporting enterprise he's taken on, whether it be sailing, whether it be Nice, whether it be anything else, like the cycling as well, Formula 1. There's been criticism throughout every single part of Ineos's sort of reign and tenures at certain businesses. There is a lot there to complain. There's a lot, not to complain, there's a lot there to look at and scrutinise. But that's the same with anyone, to be honest. I'm just thinking right now, we just don't need this. But it's a bit of news that needed to be brought up. And yeah, I think I think it will be brushed under the carpet a little bit. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, if you have missed a payment that you have committed to as part of a sponsorship deal, that's a little concerning, isn't it? Seems a little bit disorganised to me. Let's just check on that number 10 poll. Get voting on that poll. Let's get that poll up to 1,000 votes, everybody. Which would you say is the more realistic number 10 signing this summer for United? Florian Wirtz, Tyler Diblin, Matheus Cunha, Angel Gomez. Angel Gomez and Florian Wirtz are both on 18%. Tyler Diblin, 23% of the poll vote. And Matthias Cunha on 40% of the vote. Keep the votes coming in as well, everybody. Nice FC isn't successful. Mercedes F1 team got worse under Ineos. These are the things that people are going to be picking up on, obviously, and the worry for United in the future. Look, all we hoped for when Ineos came in was they'd have learned from their mistakes and taken on the biggest sports football club in the world. You cannot be making the same mistakes. Obviously, it's going to be out there even more. It's going to be looked at. The spotlight is on Manchester United constantly, and you can't get away with things and mistakes within Manchester United like you would in your other sporting clubs and organisations. It's not going to happen at Manchester United. Ineos are trying to dodge a mega £8 million payment to the All Blacks. That's the proper scummy. It might not look like much to people used to football figures, but it's massive for New Zealand. That's massive in rugby. It's monumental in rugby. FUTV, the best United supporters channel on YouTube, and very little bad language. Yes, limited, Derek. Only when United really, really do pee me off. Wirtz would cost €150 million. For F's sake, he isn't coming to us and we can't afford him. I don't think he'll be 150. I think he's £100 million, €100 million player. United could get him if we were in the Champions League only, and he's never going to come to the club unless we are in the Champions League. I think that is set. Not a chance in hell, basically. Wolves are not selling to us, I guarantee. Well, nobody wants to sell to Manchester United. There's no guarantees in anything. But if you put the right package in front of a player and the club, it will move. So let's just see. You could add Jonathan David to the possible targets. He needs a free transfer. I will get him either way. We have to consider if come summer we lose Rashford, Garnacho, Eriksen, Lindelof and Casemiro, etc. Our squad is going to be threadbare. Ineos would need to smash the window. Like I said, we're expecting big things this window, and Romano has pretty much said that himself as well. So that's one thing to actually look out for come this summer. Let's just double check on everything else. Please give the video a like as well, everybody. We're nearly at the 400 like mark. That is brilliant for a morning show. Poll is still, Matthias Cunha is steamboating it now. He is at 41% of the vote for the number 10. Just to go over the news, if you have just joined us at the top of the show, Romano talking on his YouTube channel, talking about Manchester United's priorities. Intensity is the key word in Manchester United's transfer summer. Ruben Amorim demands a certain profile of player that brings the intensity needed to fit his system. They will be going for an out-and-out goal scorer, number 9. Someone definitely to sit behind him in the number 10 position. We know about the right wing-back position, and United also going for an 8. They're the 4 priority targets for Manchester United in terms of positions this summer. Victor Gyökeres, Matthias Cunha, Tyler Diblin, Quenda, Wesley, then you're looking at Brigg, you're looking at Edison. These are all the names that are floating around Manchester United right now as well. The funeral today for Dennis Law, by the way, is something that we do need to just discuss as well. Ineos will have representation there in the form of Sir David Brailsford as well. It is going to be a sad day for all Manchester United fans today. The funeral of Dennis Law is today. The King. We say goodbye to the King today, everybody. So, sad day for Manchester United today, but I expect an absolute immense turnout for the legend of this football club. I wanted to finish on a big high with that one. And again, like, this football club is built from foundations that players like Dennis Law made. They were the benchmark. They were what set Manchester United rolling. After the Busby Babes and everything around this football club, Dennis Law, Sir Bobby Charlton, Georgie Best, all of the legends of the Munich air disaster. This is what this club was built on. And today we say goodbye to another legend of this football club in Dennis Law. And yeah, just wanted to bring that up and just say our farewells here from Forever United TV, myself and everybody else. And a sad day for the football club again. But King, legend, and absolute master of his craft. What we would give right now to have a player like Denis Law in our squad. They're the levels that United are built off. That is the standard right there. Farewell to Dennis, and that is us all finished here on Forever United TV this morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel on the way out. Give the video a like. We just hit 400 live likes. Absolutely mega. Thank you, everybody. I will see you later on this evening. If anything does break, I will be all over it through the midday. Enjoy your day, people. I will see you all later on. Have a good